Greetings to all. Myself Vaishnavi, Assistant Professor, IT Department from SNS College of Engineering. Now we are going to see about the incremental process model in object-oriented software engineering. First one, the incremental process models. The incremental process models combines the elements of linear and parallel processes flows. The incremental model delivers a series of releases to the customer. These releases are called the increments. More and more functionality is associated with each increment. Next point, the incremental model combines the elements of linear and parallel process flows. The incremental model applies the linear sequences in the staggered fashions as calendar time progresses. Next point, each linear sequence produces the deliverable increments of the software in a manner that is similar to the increments produced by an evolutionary process flows. Next one, when we chosen the incremental model, we have the three conditions. First one, when the initial software requirements are reasonably well defined. Second point will be when the overall scope of the development efforts produces a purely linear processes. Third one, when the limited set of software functionality needed quickly. Here we have the diagram for the incremental process model. The first one, the white color denotes the communication phases. Second one will be the planning, and then third one will be the modeling. Here we have the analysis and the design process. Fourth phase will be the construction phase. Here we having the coding and the testing. Fifth one will be the deployment. Here we have delivery and the feedback processes. And the first phase, after completing the first increment phase, the delivery of the first increment, and then second phase followed by the second one. After completing, the delivery will happen, and then the final one, likewise it goes on. Next one, the incremental model applies the linear sequences in the targeted fashion as the calendar time progresses. For example, word processing software developed using the incremental paradigm might deliver the basic file system like editing and document production function in the first increment, and then more sophisticated editing and document production capabilities in the second increment, and then spelling and the grammar checking in the third increment, and then advanced page layout capability in the fourth increment. And then it should be noted that the process flow for any increment can incorporate the prototyping paradigm. The first increment is often the core product, that is, the basic requirements are addressed, but many supplementary features remain undelivered. And then the core product is used by the customer. As a result of use, the plan is developed for the next increment, and then the plan addresses the modification of the core product to the better meet the needs of the customer, and then delivery of the additional features and functionality, and then this process is repeated following the delivery of each increment until the complete product is produced. And then the incremental development is particularly useful when staffing is unavailable for the complete implementation by the business deadline that has been established for the project. Next one, the yearly increments can be implemented with the fewer peoples. If the core product is well received, then the additional staff, if required, can be added to implement the next increment. And then in addition, the increments can be planned to manage the technical risks. And then here we have the advantages. In incremental process, we have 6 advantages. First one, it generates the working software quickly and yearly during the software life cycle. Second one, this model is more flexible, that is less costly to change the scope of the requirements. It is easier to test and debug during the smaller iterations. Fourth point, in this model, the customer can respond to each build Fifth point will be the lower initial delivery cost, and then sixth advantage will be easier to manage the risk because risky pieces are identified and handled during its iteration process. And then disadvantages, here we have three disadvantages. First point, needs a good planning and design. Second disadvantage will be needs a clear and complete definition of the whole system before it can be broken down and built incrementally. And then third point will be the total cost is higher than the waterfall model. Thank you.